Hello, I am back with another video, and this time we will be talking about people pleasing habits and how they affect you and how to break them. Like, people pleasing has been a bit of a curse for me and my overall life, and how I have been seeing things differently now that I have recognized that I am a people pleaser, or one of the people pleaser of many. So, right now, I am going to give you more journal insight, and this is going to be divided into 10 different episodes, from saying yes too fast to fear of being disliked, and ending at feeling responsible for every other feeling. So, this is going to be an entirely 10-part series, and I want you to stay with me in order to know how and what we can do to practice everything. Series is about being from people pleaser to the peaceful. We are reclaiming our voice, and we are trying to know that what is it that we can do, and actually identifying the problems. So this is the episode 1, which is saying yes too fast. Why do you say yes too fast, and how do you stop it? Have you ever said yes to something and immediately you felt regret? You felt resentment building. You felt like, it's just exhausting. Why am I like this? Why do I keep saying yes when I don't want to? You knew you didn't want to do it, but the word just came out of nowhere, faster than your own thoughts. And today we are going to diving into that surface, leaving the surface, getting deeper into yourself, and saying why we say yes so fast as people pleaser, and how do we reclaim your power, one pause at a time. Last week, I said yes to help someone. I didn't want to do. I had my prayer engagements. I wanted to go for gym at work. I wanted to pick up my groceries. This happening at the same time, and I still said yes. Why? Ask me why. Because it felt easier than the discomfort of saying no. That's it. That's it. This was the only problem. I was the one hurting. Now I have to think of a reason to say no or actually be there. Not thinking before speaking. So why it happens? Saying yes too fast to anything that has been asked of you, office, workplace, personal connection, mother, daughter, any kind of relationship, it's a survival reflex. That's how people pleaser avoid conflict, rejection, disapproval, or the fear of being difficult or selfish. That's how people pleaser avoid all these things. And most of us are trained from childhood that good people say yes. Yes. Healthy people pause. The wise people assess. Brave people say no when needed. And we were never taught to be brave. We were taught to be the obedient one. So let's talk about it. Why it feels easier. Even safer to say yes, especially to someone like you who notices everything. That slight shift in someone's tone, the pause in their message, the way their energy feels different after you express hesitation, you pick up on all of that, let's be honest. And deep down, your nervous system might be associating that change with something scary, like rejection, abandonment, or fear of being misunderstood. Now we zoom out to the therapist lens, and here's what often sits underneath. It's not really about task that you are saying yes to. It's about staying connected. It's about avoiding warmth between you and the other person. And for emotionally attuned people like us, that drop can feel like a cliff. Many of us have learned early on that sometimes without words, saying no meant tension. That speaking up created distance. So we adapted. We became agreeable. We became supportive. We became accommodating. And even though that has helped us survive back then, now it's just keeping us stuck in a pattern that hurt us constantly. Here's something one therapist told me that changed everything. You're not actually afraid of saying no. You're afraid of the emotional ripple it might cause. And how you are responsible, you will feel for it. And when I heard that for the first time, it hit me. Where people like us, we just don't say yes to please. We say yes to match the energy in the room, to manage the energy in the room, to hold the harmony all together, to avoid carrying the guilt of someone else's discomfort. You are allowed to let the energy shift and trust that you can handle the wave. You don't have to sacrifice your nervous system just to keep the vibe intact. When you say yes, a wave of regret hit you that And you are no longer angry. You're not angry at anyone to whom you have said yes. You are angry at yourself for abandoning your needs, for avoiding that one awkward moment. And right there, that's the core of people pleasing. Choosing temporary comfort over long term peace. That's what you are doing. Disappointing people. We don't want to be the bad guys or see unreliable. We have been programmed since childhood. We have been taught that being agreeable means being loved. So now saying yes is your way of feeling safe or feeling needed. There is an instant pressure. Sometimes people ask you some things on the spot and silence feels awkward, and you might want to feel it with yes. Yes, I will do it. Not out of excitement, especially when you're not feeling right to go, especially when you already have some prior engagements and you say yes. If you're saying yes in excitement, that's okay. If you want to do it, that's 100% okay. But if you don't want to do it and you still say yes just to not disappoint other people, that's a problem. Practice tools that we can use. So 3 practical ways that I am going to share with you that you can use. So there is tool number 1, that is the 3-second rule. Before responding to a request, count slowly in your head. 3, 2, 1. And then say, let me check and get back to you. That sentence is gold. It sometimes buy you times and sometimes it don't. Wherever applicable, you can use this thing. Let me check back and get back to you. That will give you time to think what you want to do, whether you want to help or not. That will give you at least some time to assess all the pros and cons of doing that thing. Or whether you want to help as a friend or you want to help just because you want to say yes and you feel like, okay, if I don't help them, they might not think of me as a good friend or a good daughter or a good son. So we do this 3-second rule. I know it's not applicable in most of the situations, but wherever applicable, use this. Another tool, use some default scripts. Just practice some of the scripts. Write them, rehearse them. That I need a moment to think about that. I'm not sure if I have the capacity. That sounds nice, but I need to check on my schedule and energy. Say, oh, maybe let me just check back with myself. Use some default script that you can prepare for yourself in order to use and get out of the situation, and not just regret it after doing it or before doing it, or blame yourself for saying yes and constantly beating your inner self. Why do I say yes? Why am I like this? You are like this because you have been programmed like this. So let's just break the cycle and use some of the script. It might sound like they may not work, but trust me, in the long run, they're helpful, as we have to break this pattern somehow. Okay, so body check-in before saying yes. So before your answer, just take your time. Even saying yes, say, what do I feel? Ask yourself, inner self, okay, give me 2 minutes. Ask yourself, do I feel tired? Do I feel guilty or excited? If someone is asking you to help them move their furniture, ask yourself, like, do I feel guilty or do I feel excited? If you feel excited, good. If you feel guilty, if you feel like, oh, if I say no, what will they say? Pause. Ask them to give you time, and they won't mind it because they're asking you for help. And then say no. And then say yes. Think of the pros and cons. Can you help me with the presentation tonight? Yeah, no problem. And deeply inside, I say that. I feel deeply panic. I'm overwhelmed. Why did I say yes? And that's so what we can do is if someone asks, hey, can you help me with the presentation tonight? You remain calm. You say, I am maxed out right now. You take a breathe. I am maxed out. But let me check with my schedule and get back to you within an hour. And notice how nothing will explode. You will still sound kind, but you will not abandon yourself. It's journal, prompt, and challenge. So on last time, I said yes too fast. Was I afraid that what would happen if I said no? How did I choose choice affect me afterward? Answer all these 3 questions. And here's a challenge. This week, use this phrase, let me think about it, at least once, and do that. Even if something small, practice something that builds you.